Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I'm doing a review on the 2020 Dodge Charger Hellcat, and the way you can tell it's a Hellcat is they have specific badging all around the car. You can see the little symbol here on both sides of the vehicle, kind of by the front wheel and tire. On the front here where it says SRT, it also has the little cat logo right next to that, so that's another symbol. So on this side, like I mentioned, and then it should say it, yep, on the back as well. So 4 pieces of badging just on the exterior of the car. That way you can tell that's a Hellcat. This one is obviously white on red, so we have the white exterior and the red interior, which we'll look at in a second. Let's pop the hood. I know that's everybody's big thing with cars like this, is they just want to see the engine and the hood and what they got going on. So this is a supercharged Hemi engine. When you buy a car like this, you get 2 keys. I'm not sure of any other manufacturers that do this, but you get a black key, which is like standard power. I think it's 500 and something horsepower. And then you get a red key, which is like unlocks all the horsepower, and this one has about 700 and I think it's like 19 horsepower, maybe a little more. And then after this there's a Dodge Demon, which is kind of like the upgraded version of the Hellcat, and that one has, I think it's closer to like 850 horsepower, which is crazy. When those things take off, they wheelie. It'd be pretty scary, but it's pretty cool. Engine obviously is pretty big. This is a V6 engine. That's not true, it's not a V6, it's a V8 engine. So something about the hood that you'll tell obviously is that there's a scoop right here and then a couple of different airways. Essentially it's just for the air to flow into the engine bay to cool it off, I'm pretty sure. Just makes sense. All right, so looking at the wheels, these, believe it or not, these are stock wheels, but something like this, if you crack or break one of these, and we just had this happen, from factory to get a new one just like this, it costs $2,200. And it's not just $2,200, it's $2,200 and like 3 to 4 weeks of waiting. So if you think, well, you know, if somebody breaks one of these, I'll just order one. Yeah, well, you're spending $2,200 and you're waiting up to 4 weeks just for a freaking wheel, which seems ridiculous. I mean, that just makes sense. We were able to get it at wholesale pricing for $1,867 or something, and it came in like a week. And to do that, you can just call your dealership and say you want wholesale pricing and say you own a car rental company, and we get it every time. But depending on your fleet size, like maybe you won't. But I try it every time, no matter where I go. I like the red leather. It's kind of like a red on black interior, like a lot of black, and then a good amount of red for the seats, stuff like this. It's a pretty dark red color, as you can see. Really nice. It's actually comfy. A lot of sports cars and exotic cars, which this is a muscle car, but a lot of higher end expensive cars aren't comfortable. Typically, I mean, obviously it just depends. But this one, you sit in it and it's kind of comfortable. It's a car that's really easy to get into. I mean, just like a standard sedan, essentially. It just has 719 horsepower. Something else you'll notice when you get inside is there is a little bit of badging for the Hellcat. So on the seat right here, they have the SRT and the Hellcat symbol. Same with the passenger side. There isn't any other badging on the seats, but on the other side over here, there is another piece of badging for the SRT and the Hellcat logo, which is right here. And that's all of the badging I know of for Hellcat. Other than that, the floor mats will have like the SRT. I'm sure you can get some custom ones that have Hellcat, but from factory, I'm pretty sure they're just SRT. Something that's big when you're looking at sedans and stuff is, at least for me, is legroom in the back. Like if I have friends coming with me, can they actually sit in the back, or are they having to lay diagonally? So we're gonna do the back seat test. I'm 6 foot, I just weighed myself this morning, 187 pounds. So we'll see how well I fit. Okay. It's not bad. My legs have to go out quite a bit. You probably couldn't fit 3 grown men my size in the back. I mean, you could fit 1, 2, but a third one would probably be asking for too much. So 3 smaller people, 2 bigger people, that's pretty fair. Something cool about this, and you don't see this in a ton of cars, I wish you did, but it has heated seats for the back, which is really nice. I mean, if I'm gonna be a passenger princess in a car, I'm gonna want heated seats, so that's pretty neat to have that. I'd say right now we just do a little startup on it. This thing, it sounds really good, obviously, and then we'll take it for a little test drive and just see how it feels. Everybody always talks about the whine of these things, so let's see if it really holds true to, you know, what people say. Last thing is trunk space, of course. You know what? Looking at this right now, it's actually a very, very fair-sized trunk. Typically with like a sedan or even like a sports car, like you wouldn't even get this much room, even half of, like it typically cut off here. So you're getting, I mean, this is actually a really, really good sized trunk. I mean, you could fit a couple pieces of luggage, a couple bodies. I mean, you could fit some stuff in here and have no issues. Another question is, okay, so it has your batteries right here. I'm not seeing a tire, so I don't know if this comes with a spare tire. I think they're expecting if, you know, you're driving 120 miles an hour, you're just not gonna hit a nail, you're just gonna kind of glide right over it. Probably true. But right when you hit a pothole and you crack the wheel and you break it and it costs $2,200, can't go fast enough to glide over those. So let's get in this, let's start it up, and let's take it for a little drive. All right, so we're in the Hellcat right now. Don't make fun of me, people talk about it. I have my seat always very close to the steering wheel. I mean, it's like when people can't get in the car after I leave it. Like people my size or even smaller are unable. I like it really, really high, and I like it really close. I don't know if you can see my seating position, but I'm really close to the steering wheel. Sometimes I'll get even closer, but let's do a cold start. With the red key. Sounds pretty good. It's nothing crazy, doesn't jump out at you. It's like a nice, calm start. Like I said before, the interior is really plush. It feels pretty comfy. What do you think?
I think it's pretty comfortable.
You like it? You like it? Yeah, I mean, you expect that if I'm spending $100 grand on a car, I wouldn't get comfy seats, but this one's pretty nice. Pretty standard steering wheel. I mean, nothing crazy in controls. You have cruise control. You can go through like the menu options for speedometer, diagnostics, whatever, probably tire pressure, call buttons, which I don't think I've ever seen anybody use in my life. And then you have your paddle shifters, buttons down here to control like the radio sound and the tune, which these buttons on the steering wheel down here, I use all the time. Like I'm always messing with these buttons to like change the radio and stuff. I always use them, so I'm a huge fan. Down here, I mean, super simple stuff. You have your SRT, which will take you into pretty much all your performance stuff. You have launch, which is essentially just your launch mode, pretty much. That's how you do your 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. And then of course you can put in manual mode, you have the paddle shifters. And then best of all, the backup camera, which I just put in reverse. Take a look at this. It was a $100,000 car, and the backup camera, I saw my parents' wedding videos. I think it's about 35, 40 years ago. The quality on that looks better than this. Like, it makes me upset every time I see this, that they skipped out on that. And I hope somebody from Dodge watches this video and just gets really sad that they created a backup camera like this for people that are spending $100,000 on a car. Just seems crazy. And if they don't upgrade it on, I haven't seen the Demons, I haven't seen the backup cameras, but if they did not upgrade it, I will be very upset. Not that I'm ever going to own one or drive one probably, but for the people that own them, for their sake, I really hope that they upgrade them. So on a side note, if you guys have ever seen a newer Jeep Wrangler, the backup cameras are like 8K definition. It's the highest quality backup camera I've ever seen in my whole entire life. So just, you know, if you're looking for a car and just looking at backup cameras, go for a Jeep Wrangler. Don't buy Hellcat. That's my advice. You have some good window viewage when you're looking back in the rearview mirror. Typically, I mean, I'm just going to compare it to all other cars that you're typically spending about this much money on. Sports cars, muscle cars, whatever. Like you can't really see out the back window. Like that's typically not an option. You get a little mirror here, but it's pretty much pointless in many cars. And in Chevy, they actually started switching it. So there's a toggle and there's a camera or a show you behind you, probably because in some of the cars you literally are unable to see out the back window. And I'm talking about the C8s. So there's a screen that shows behind you, pretty much. Let's give this thing a little juice. It feels good. It feels nice and stuck to the road. We're gonna give it a little juice in a second. Just want it to warm up. We'll probably try to do a launch and see really what this thing's capable of. People, the thing about Chargers and Challengers and Hellcats is, and I hear about this all the time, I haven't experienced it, but people love to steal these things. I don't know if it's because they like the look, if it's because they're just like the car to steal, but out of every car I've ever heard of in my life, Dodge, Charger, Challenger, SRT, 392, Hellcats, whatever, they will steal. They, as in pretty much anybody that is going to steal a car is going to steal one of these all the time. It's crazy. It's crazy. If you're going to buy one, and let's say you rent it out, have a tracker on it. In Phoenix, we're pretty lucky. I mean, we don't get a lot of stolen cars. We get cars going to Mexico and people trying to like smuggle drugs and people, but they're not trying to steal your car. They're just trying to get, you know, things across the border. But I've heard about people in, let me think, I just was told in Florida, somebody was just telling me yesterday that cars like this are stolen all day long. And then in, I think Chicago or something. No, Detroit. It was Detroit. This guy was telling me that cars are stolen all day long. All right, so we're gonna try a little launch. We're gonna stop. We're gonna press the launch button. Launch. Okay, launch. To launch, steering. Okay, press brake and quickly apply full throttle. Oh, wow. It wants me to go full throttle. Let's try it. Ooh! Ooh! Holy crap. What do you think?
That's pretty fast.
That's pretty fast. That felt faster than 0 to 60. The one thing I noticed, and I have noticed it with these and Challengers, is they have a hard time sticking to the ground for some reason. And I think it's because they have so much power to weight ratio or something. I'm no, like, you know, I don't know a ton about that stuff, but I'm just thinking out loud. They do not stick well to the ground at all. So when you're trying to take off or do like a quick punch, they'll typically spin out. Even if you're going, like we're going 22 miles an hour right now, I'm gonna punch it. So there it held a little bit, and you can hear that whine. That's what people always talk about with these cars. They love the whining sound like this. Yeah, you can hear it. It's just something that people are always talking about, looking for. I think it sounds pretty good. It is quicker than I thought, especially that takeoff. If it would have gripped the road, it would have been like, it would have felt so much faster because it would have kicked immediately. Instead, there was a little bit of delay when it's trying to catch on the tires, but after that, it picked up pretty quick. Overall, I'd say this makes sense on how it's probably the fastest car in our fleet right now. Yeah, love the handling. Driving feels good. I'd say truly the best way to tell handling is just to take a corner, not going overly fast, but going at an appropriate pace, just to feel like, is it gonna catch, or do you have like full control? So let's take this. We're going like 19 miles an hour. Yeah, it feels pretty good. I mean, I always look for how much, when I'm driving a car that's faster, how much control do I really have? And other than taking off on like a launch, oh, there's an SRT 392 Hemi. I wonder if there's like a club and they have like a special wave that they do. I know Jeeps do. I don't know if you've heard of it, but if you have a Jeep, there's a Jeep wave. But yeah, this thing feels pretty well in control, other than obviously when you're taking off, it just kind of squeals out a little bit and then catches. Overall, I like it. It's a cool car. It doesn't, I mean, it looks cool, but it's not like, it's not special. I mean, when you're buying like a 911 or, I mean, screw it, even like a Fisker is just so unique. Or like a Cybertruck. I know everyone's talking about those Cybertrucks now. I was just talking to a guy that I know in Vegas. His did like $15,000 last month in gross revenue, which is crazy. That's bonkers. But like me personally on this car, I probably wouldn't buy it just because it's not for me. Like, I personally would rather have, of course I'd rather have a Cybertruck. I just think those look cool. I think they're just as fast as this, maybe a little faster actually. I think, yeah, never mind. I take that back. They're definitely faster than this. So they look cool. Those are just like, I don't know, really, really cool cars. That's all I can say. All right, so we just finished up with the Hellcat, and I think overall that's a cool car. Things I probably like the most are the speed. I mean, it's pretty quick, as you could tell. It sounds really nice. It's a lot of horsepower and good sound. And then it's comfy. Like, the seats are comfy. There's good leg room. Front and back. The back isn't too squished. But overall, I think it's a pretty cool car. And yeah, I think a good investment for the person that owns it. So if you're interested in hosting vehicles like this with us, or talking to us about possibly partnering, send us an email below at heartrentalsaz@gmail.com. And we'd love to work with you. We take stuff like this to rent out for people all the time. And I mean, people can make passive income pretty quickly. So thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed the review, and I'll see you in the next one.